Okay, Inktober, day 3. Here we go. I was a little unsure. I was actually planning to draw Chun-Li from Street Fighter today because I've always loved her character design, and I really wanted to start drawing portraits and people and start challenging myself, which is the whole point of Inktober. But then I had a look at the official prompt list. For those of you who don't know, there is an official list of prompts every day to get the creative juices flowing. And the prompt for today was the word poison. And then I thought I could still draw a character, and I could just draw Poison from Final Fight and from some of the later Street Fighter games. She fits the bill perfectly, and I can always come back to Chun-Li later. So I started with a pencil sketch here. I've generally been thinking I would like to jump straight into ink, but I thought there's nothing wrong with doing a pencil sketch first, just to wrap my head around the idea. And for a character like this, I used to be very good at character design and character drawing and poses a long time ago. This will be a theme in these videos, and I let myself fall out of practice. And ever since then, knowing how good I used to be and seeing some of the amazing artists out there, I have let myself lose that skill over time. And as a result, every time I have tried to draw a character, I mean, if you look through, for instance, Procreate on my iPad, if you look through the artworks, it's about 90% started but unfinished character portraits, figure drawings, because I always abandon them because I always feel like it's not good enough. And once again, Spirit of Inktober, good enough, not good enough, big or small, dive in, do it. And that's what I'm doing here. And you've seen I've tried a few different things with the pose with her arms. The arms definitely threw me off, and attempting something with foreshortening is challenging at the best of times, but someone who's really out of practice, frankly, with it, it's a hell of a problem. But I did my best, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I would do things slightly differently now, watching the video back, but I'm not going to complain with what I did. I think I did pretty well. And here I am, breaking out the Copics. I lived in Japan for a few years, and Copics are ridiculously cheap over there. Like, it's cheaper, I think, if you want to get a full set of Copics, to fly to Tokyo, or to fly to Chiba, where I lived, go to the loft outside Chiba Eki, and load yourself up, than it is to actually just buy the pens. Plus you get to see Japan, which is awesome. Jumping straight back into the inking, I was my hands were shaking trying to make sure that I got this very precise line work right, because I have not done a figure drawing like this to completion in a very long time. And I said to myself, I will do it, I will get it done tonight. It's all about positive change and all about embracing the attitude of I can do it, rather than letting yourself be intimidated and thinking I'm not good enough, or I'm not as good as such and such artist. There are so many such and such artists out there. You know, shout out to Art Germ, Stanley Lau, Marko Djurdjevic. There's just so many amazing artists out there to be intimidated by. And for a first attempt after a long time, I think this turned out spectacularly. It's all about getting in that practice. I'm going to share something that just popped up randomly on my Facebook feed. The ceramics teacher announced on opening day that he was dividing the class into 2 groups. All those on the left side of the studio, he said, would be graded solely on the quantity of their work they produced, all those on the right solely on its quality. His procedure was simple. On the final day of class, he would bring in his bathroom scales and weigh in the work of the quantity group, 50 pounds of pots rated an A, 40 pounds a B, and so on. Those being graded on quality, however, needed to produce only 1 pot, albeit a perfect one, to get an A. Well, came grading time, and the curious fact emerged. The works of the highest quality were all produced by the group being graded for quantity. It seemed that while the quantity group was busily churning out piles of work and learning from their mistakes, the quality group had sat theorizing about perfection, and in the end had little more to show for their efforts than grandiose theories and a pile of dead clay. And I have very much been in that group for a very long time, reading, thinking, pondering, and never actually just jumping in. An example here was with these marvelous Copics, which in Australia here are pricey as. They are not a cheap art tool, art supply. And knowing that, I have been very nervous about using them for fear of wasting them. And as a result, I haven't used them, and they've sat there unused for years since I've moved back to this country. And I regret that. I loved using these things when they were everywhere and cheap, and I love the look and what you can do with them, and they're just so much fun to use, but I have let myself be intimidated. I've talked myself out of it, which is ridiculous. They're there to be used, you know? It's how stupid to just let them there. Let them sit there taking up space. As an aside, I'm also using chameleon markers here. These things are amazing. You apply some clear alcohol to the top of them, like they come in a little cap. You plug the brush tip into the cap, turn it upside down, and it gets clear alcohol on it, which means that you can fade the color in from invisibility to full opacity, I guess, and doing that with several colors at once means you can fade them into each other, and they've got such vibrant colors. They're really cool. Really recommend the chameleons. They really work well with Copics as well. They play nice together. Well, here I am. I've been rambling, and here it is at the end of the video, and here is Poison. And I am very happy with how she turned out. I have not done something like this in a very long time, especially not with real media. I would agonize over this for ages and ages and ages otherwise, but here I churned this out in a day. Inktober's all about stuff like that, and I am so happy with how she turned out. So, yeah, tomorrow's challenge is underwater. I might do something underwater, I might not. I'll see how I feel at the time. So, please let me know what you think, and come back tomorrow for more Inktober.